Alright, we are here to make our apron. I've got all my pieces ready to go. I did decide I wanted some contrasting pockets on here, so I did cut those out from a different fabric, and then we'll use the pockets I cut from this fabric for something else later. First thing we need to do is know which pattern that we are making. So if you remember, I am making pattern C. So I've grabbed my directions and I found apron C on the instructions. Looks like the first thing I need to do is follow steps 1 through 4 from apron A and B, substituting pocket 6 for pocket 1. So I need to go back and find apron A and B, 1 through 6. So I need to, looks like, fold down the top edge of my pocket. Okay. Anywhere that it says on here that we are going to machine stitch or baste anything, we are not actually going to do that. This machine stitch the 1 inch, I am going to use my seam gauge, this little tool here. I think the ones at school are purple. We're going to use this to mark the 1 inch line, do the fold, and then go from there. This will just save us some time and save us some thread over the long run. So we'll get that going. Looks like we need to do a 1 inch mark first, and then fold it over 1 inch again. Okay. So we are also, that's warm still. We are also going to use our iron here to help keep our folds that we're going to do in place, along with some pins. So first thing I need to do is to get my iron plugged in. While I'm getting my iron plugged in, you can say hi to Mr. Titus back there. He is going to be snoring away in the background here with these demo videos. Sorry about that, but he does not want to be outside in the snowstorm. So while my iron is heating up, I am going to take my pieces, and it looks like I need them to be wrong side up. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to quickly, this is still pretty warm from a different project I was doing just a minute ago. Okay, just get some of those creases out of there. I'm going to have my seam gauge, and I'm going to want a colored pencil to help me out here. So because the back of this is white, I'm going to use a color that will easily show up on the back of this white. We'll use a pink one. Alright, so our first marking we need to do is at 1 inch. So to use a seam gauge, I'm going to look at it, and this metal piece, the plastic piece, does move along that center. So my first marking I want to go to is the 1 inch marking. So that is at that first little notch there. So I can line the little plastic piece up there, knowing that that's along 1 inch. And then I'm going to mark, line the plastic piece up with the edge of the fabric. And then I've got the top of my seam gauge that I'm going to mark along. And we're going to do that 3 or 4 times across the fabric. Because we're going to have somewhere to fold to then. Do that same thing on this other piece. Now we've got those 1-inch marks that we can fold along. So our first step is to fold the upper edge of the wrong side so the cut edge just meets that stitching or that mark that we just made. Okay. So folding it to that mark. Remember, we are not using water in our irons anymore. We're going to use our spray bottles, so we can just spray a couple times. We don't need to soak our fabric. Just a couple squirts to help keep that fold in place. Okay, got that one. And remember, pressing. We just need to pick the iron up and set it down. We do not need to go back and forth like ironing. The same thing over here. Fold to that line we just made. Couple sprays from our bottle. And press that seam, or not that seam, that fold into place. Okay, and then the next thing that we do is turn the upper edge to the wrong side again. This time along the stitching. Okay, so along that mark we just made, we're going to fold it one more time. Press it into place again. Instead of doing the basting, this does basically the same thing without having to do extra sewing. Okay, because it looks like the step after that, we're going to go stitch along that line. So I'm going to pin this down in a couple of places. And then switch over to this one. Do that same thing, fold along that line that we marked. Couple of sprays. And to press that down. Okay, that should be good. Couple pins in there. Okay, we are going to go to the sewing machine and we are going to sew right along the top there so that it holds that fold down, and then we can do the next step after that.